What's going on, peeps? I've discussed creators such as Jack Stauber, known not only for their artistic anime YouTube videos and illustrations, but also their well-produced music that complements their content. I'm here to inform you that I've discovered someone similar that you might be familiar with. This is Sodikken. This creator has 500,000 YouTube subscribers and 1 million monthly listeners. An artist so mysterious that I can barely find any background about her in general. I'm not even sure if this is a real person. However, something about her material has allowed her to build up a dedicated fanbase within the weirdest limelight corners of the internet. With just 17 videos and 7 songs available, how did she achieve success with such a small catalog? What's more astonishing is her year-long absence from posting new content. Today, I aim to uncover not only how she rose to internet fame, but also where she has disappeared to. Let's get started. Based in California is an artist who creates visual art and bedroom pop music. This is Sodikken. The creator's real name is completely unknown, but the entire project is run by this one person. Thankfully, Sodikken is a real person behind the computer. Since her earliest memories, Sodikken has harbored a deep-seated ambition to create her own narrative-driven series. She likely had a plan to leverage internet platforms such as YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon to garner attention for her work and ultimately fund her dream project. She utilizes a range of Adobe programs including Photoshop, After Effects, Animate, and Media Encoder. Claymation was also later used. Her art style combines like surreal, vivid imagery with elements of fantasy and horror. There's this use of bold colors, intricate details, and an unusual approach to storytelling in general. For music production, she relies on FL Studio. On October 20th, 2020, Sodikken's YouTube channel was created. 2 days later, she made her first Patreon sketches of a living room, a forest, and another forest without color. The same day, she aired her first cartoon, Bus Stop. According to her public playlist on YouTube, this short 3-minute clip will be part of a yet-to-be-released indie series named Blood in a Skinny Hedgehog. Prepare for spoilers, by the way. Taking place at a bus stop, we meet this random cat person that some people refer to as Sodi, sitting peacefully waiting for her bus before being met with a terrifying sight. The murderous green dragon lady Sheila. Sheila threatens to murder Sodi with her knife and make her another victim. However, Sodi doesn't seem to be afraid at all. Heck, she's more laid back and chill than anything. Sodi points out Sheila's birthmark that gets the murderer's attention, causing her to toss the knife at a tree instead, resulting in a fruit light falling to the ground. Sodi picks up the light and shines it to find a disappointed Sheila. Sheila admits that the birthmark was always a source of irritation because people focus on that instead of her work as a murderer. In life, people will judge us by how we look without getting to know the things we're proud of doing. We then get Sheila's backstory of murders since she was an infant killing her own mother and seems to be frustrated at the lack of infamy for her efforts. Nobody is terrified of her because all they do is focus on her birthmark that she never got removed. I love how the entire time Sodi seems to be completely disassociating from the conversation. That's relatable. Surprisingly though, Sodi supports her, encouraging Sheila to pursue her actions despite her birthmark, which boosts Sheila's confidence a lot. You shouldn't let your insecurities keep you from pursuing your dreams. As Sodi departs on her camel bus, Sheila feels uplifted by the unexpected encouragement to kill people. Everything from the voice acting, sound effects, almost hand-drawn animation, story, and lesson. It's certainly quirky, but it's a charming and warm experience that only continues from here. On October 26, 2020, we get a shorter, less colorful clip from the series. I hate when this happens. Do you ever find yourself in a hurry, repeatedly locking your car until you hear that loud beep just to be sure it's secure? This clip is similar where Sodi almost forgets her unbranded carbonated soda. She tries to grab it once, misses, tries again, misses. When she finally grabs it, she holds it so tightly that she accidentally crushes the can. Now she's got nothing to drink. A month later is a trick my cat can do that is a completely separate cartoon from the series, I believe. Remember those filler episodes in TV series back when the entire season didn't just drop all at once? That's what this feels like to me. We get to witness a cat named Lily playing a guitar, having so much talent that she doesn't even need to plug it in. Gives me the vibe of one of those home videos from the 2000s. After these first 3 uploads, she had about 14 subscribers. Despite a lack of success in the beginning, she continued anyway. Taking us back to the main series is Boy Fiends on December 18th, 2020, where we're introduced to, well, a bunch of boyfriends. All of them are flexing their clothes, their organs, and making the ladies go crazy. Seems more like a teaser filler or commercial than anything. It makes you want to get to know these creatively designed characters. Her niche style needed a bit more sauce to attract more people. What is another way you can artistically tell your story? Music. We got our first song, Misery Meat, on January 21st, 2021, under the title I Hope You're Hungry. Something tells me this would have more views if it was titled Misery Meat. This is essentially a lyric video for the track, crafted with incredible attention to detail, with each hand-drawn design reflecting the song's message. All of her music is very much in this weird bedroom pop subgenre, using all the stock FL Studio instruments she could find, the MIDI strings, glossy, sometimes buzzing synths, warm keys, and punchy drums. The singer has this gentle vocal style where you can almost hear how worn out she is. Pretty simplistic production job here, but then again, I don't think she expected this track to blow up as much as it did. You see, the common theory behind the meaning of Misery Meat is this depiction of a victim of abuse metaphorically surrendering parts of themselves to their abuser, allowing the abuser control over your thoughts and emotions, how you see the world around you, refusing to put up a fight as this person doesn't find themselves to be powerful enough, letting the abuser do what they want. The victim seems to beg for mercy, asking for the abuser to feed on their own thoughts instead of the victim's. This hope for the abuser to change his ways and focus on resolving his own pain instead of inflicting it on others. As the victim lets out a cry, unsure if they'll last another day. In almost a cannibalistic way, the abuser strips the victim of their skin or their identity. Sadly, the victim doesn't even know who they are as a person anymore, given how vulnerable they appear to be. Somehow this pain gives the abuser something to gain, as it's their way of coping to getting through their pain by inflicting it on others. The victim has become a punching bag to the abuser. To the victim, it almost seems like a fair trade, suggesting the victim receives some sort of benefit for allowing the abuser to do this. Whatever it is, money, pleasure, it's sick. And the victim knows that, sacrificing themselves to make the abuser happy. By the end, the victim wants change, which, depending on the theory one might make, it could be leaving the abuser behind or a worse fate. The victim could be tired of living this way and move on, or the abuser could just be tired of living in general. Either way, the victim wants to forgive her abuser to truly move on and not feel like a burden. Misery Meat was eventually shipped to streaming services alongside People Eater on February 18, 2021. People Eater likely takes on the abuser's perspective, with this lyric video being inspired by those retro arcade fighting games where you choose your move against your opponent in battle mode. We get hints of regret and awareness of the pain caused, though these sentiments cannot overcome their compulsion to feed on the victim's emotions, proving that nothing can change their despicable nature. He gets mad when his victim rejects his advances, feeling deprived. There's another one in the trash, implying this isn't the first person they've had as their victim. Despite his terrible actions, the abuser knows and allows the victim to roam free and leave, but the victim seems to stay, questioning why they believe the abuser will ever change. Before the victim finally leaves or dies, the abuser sickeningly thanks the victim for lending him life and worth. Hot take, I might like this song sonically a bit more. I found her vocals that almost remind me of Lana Del Rey's smoky tone to match this array of buzzing synths, soft chords, harsher drums, and stock strings. Following this release was a 5-month gap, likely due to this creative drive to produce the first episode of her cartoon series independently. In the meantime, we got more music to digest in July, beginning with a major story told through 2 songs based on the 1812 children's tale Hansel and Gretel. Both tracks were released a week apart, July 6th and July 13th. Hansel is said to be Sodikken's first full-length song, given the fact it's 5 minutes in comparison to the 1-minute tracks we got before. That makes sense. Quite the nasal vocal tone on top of a certainly low-key production platter of classy keys, light cymbals, and smooth synths. This is called bit pop. It sounds annoying, I'll explain, still quite a bit amateur, something that like any FL Studio speedrunner could probably cook up in like 5 minutes. But when you hear the story it's trying to portray, it makes the vocals sound a lot more like a cry for help. It tells the story of a young boy neglected by friends and family. His attempts to seek attention escalate to self-harm, resulting in his death. One dark detail is Hansel's character just fading away before the last section. He reflects on how people only care when it's too late. Those people will only recognize your worth when you're gone. I can see a lot of scenarios and theories for this one being possible. For me, I imagine a kid who wants to become famous doesn't find any recognition, leading to the kid doing even riskier stunts to garner more clicks and attention. This ultimately results in the kid going off the deep end into a dark place out of attempt for fame. This party he describes being his funeral, looking upon the scene and telling his family to not look so sad. They should have cared for him this much when he was still with them. Check on your friends. Call them up and figure out how they're doing. You never know what they're going through, and maybe they just need someone to talk to. A week later was Gretel taking on the story of a young girl facing severe abuse and bullying due to a skin deformity. The more I've been listening to her music, I've realized how animated her vocals are. She's not a great singer. I don't think she's trying to sound that good, honestly. But the emotion or character she's trying to portray, she nails it, giving off this desperate, almost annoyed performance to demonstrate her pain. There's a lot of charm to her music when you think of it that way, turning to mythical beings like Jekyll and Hyde to give her companionship, as fictional characters won't judge her. Plus, they're a bit weird like she is. In comparison to Hansel, she prefers to live in the shadows, having that similar isolated life. Another part of the theme revolves around wanting what Hansel has. In the original children's tale, Gretel was starved while Hansel thrived. Sodikken's flip is that Gretel finds comfort in eating, while Hansel seeks attention through self-harm. It's possible that Gretel always got the most attention due to her being bullied for her appearance, leading to the jealousy of Hansel. He wanted the spotlight, while Gretel just wanted to be alone and not a victim. That's duality. Given the implications of abuse and disownment from Hansel and her father, Gretel just needs to be at peace. Maybe Hansel's death gave her that peace. On July 18th, we received the Monster Mash. This is somehow the second time this month I've talked about that song. Sodikken's Monster Mash is a playful bedroom pop instrumental with the story only being told in the visuals. This poor monster just wants to have fun and dance, but just keeps getting mashed and tortured, running into situations like being swatted by a fly swatter and drilled by a nail. I believe the monster is trying to be happy, but these negative thoughts or life events continuously crush their dreams. Redmageddon arrived on July 29th, likely betraying someone experiencing a panic attack or dissociation episode with hints at past trauma that triggers these fears, reflected in the shaky, unpredictable vocal strains and uncanny lyrics. Besides that, I love how bubbly yet chaotic this production is. They attempt to stand out by being quirky and making jokes, hoping to gain acceptance. I noticed in the music video that he appears to leave behind his white dog costume, symbolizing their attempt to change their appearance and hide their true feelings behind a cute facade to fit in. As time goes on without getting help, the singer finds it increasingly difficult to find someone dependable. They don't want their loved ones to worry, though it's clear something is wrong. At night, his mind races with random thoughts, making sleep difficult. Despite these past struggles, the singer has started to trust this person they're conversing with enough to show their vulnerabilities. This could be someone they've been talking with the entire song, or themselves. We at least get a glimpse of hope by the end. Then there's acoustic guitar-driven cat song on September 15th, returning to the series plot, teasing this clip from the first episode. We see our favorite cat character singing and recording her performance, likely for someone else to watch and give feedback. This cat goes to a river to play, eats some fish, and meets an old panther who is struggling with poor eyesight due to age. It was a journey that seemed far for the cat, but for a human it could just be another ordinary walk. Or the cat just isn't used to being out of the house and isn't used to this much wide open space. I see the message here to be cautious even with something simple like turning on the lights before heading upstairs. A simple decision can help avoid a tragic major event. After nearly a full year of uploading content, Sodikken was now at over 200 subscribers. A low subscriber count would no longer be the case within this next month. Her life was about to change completely. In the fall of 2021, fans were introduced to Sodikken's music through personal recommendations, Spotify's Discover Weekly playlist, and most importantly, social media platforms like TikTok. Tracks like People Eater, Misery Meat, Hansel and Gretel were frequently mentioned as eye and ear catchers. I'll admit the trend for Misery Meat was kinda weird. These TikToks feature creators removing their body parts like dolls using impressive editing skills and fake blood. It's an eerie trend, but I can see the appeal. As your popularity grows, so does the likelihood of encountering pushback. Her music has been harshly criticized for being a less quality quality attempt at a Jack Stauber song, associated with cringe weirdcore dream SMP shenanigans, none of this hate mattered as her songs and videos shot up into the millions. Less than a month later, the channel was now at 10,000 subscribers. A week later, 20,000. Shortly after this sudden blow up, a random cartoon Hey There Kiddo was uploaded on October 27th. Reminds me of being at a family gathering when a stranger out of the blue interrupts your moment of solitude to interrogate you about your future. Kiddo here is asked by this skinny gray fellow about what he wants to be when he grows up. Kiddo here almost rearranges his brain to think about what he wants to be before saying psychic. The stranger mistakenly hears sidekick and calls the statement cute before walking away. It feels like a slap in the face to Kiddo. Kiddo uses his psychic powers to evaporate the stranger out of revenge. Looks like a villain's origin story, seeing these people as featureless gray humanoid shapes with forgettable faces. Throughout the month of November, the channel garnered over 110,000 subscribers and 5 million views. The upload Mushroom on November 29th is more mysterious, not even being in one of Sodikken's public playlists. I can't tell if this is pixelated footage from a lost television show or an actual animation from her. Looks like something off the darknet, out of a dream, or a clip you'd see Nick Crowley reviewing for the darkest videos on the internet. The television host is requesting a mushroom from the audience to sample. When he eats the mushroom, he is frozen in disbelief before he repeatedly coughs and falls to the ground. The crew around him freaks out before the broadcast cuts to no signal. A great example of the possible effects and dangers of doing drugs. Nothing Man, released on January 24th, 2022, is basically a song about being lazy, sleeping around, doing nothing with your life, and being fine with it. Reminds me of myself when I was a huge procrastinator during 2017 to 2021. They claim to be content with achieving nothing in life, but secretly feel guilty about it and lack the motivation to change. I could have done all these things with my time to build my future, but instead I wasted those years playing too many video games, forcing myself to watch movies and shows to appease my friends. Instead of doing something productive, I had no goals and just let life steer me on its own, a time that I certainly regret. As of now, I'm a changed man and happier than ever because of all the improvements I've made for myself. Sorry to get personal there, I guess I relate to this one, huh? I expected her vocals to be more relaxed, but nah, she's still going with the quirky animated delivery. Useless You, released on May 19th, 2022, is a bit hard to decipher lyrically given it's in a completely different language than I'm used to. I guess the creator is somewhat fluent in Japanese, that's pretty cool. I enjoyed the wild vocal layering experiments that complemented the punchy bassy groove. From what I was able to translate, it questions why someone hides and doubts their beauty, hinting at one's insecurity. They feel helpless or useless, if you will. The fear of something like a little tomato symbolizes this anxiety. How could you not fear in a life so unpredictable where the sudden loss of a loved one can come just from a simple walk with your daughter? The image of cherished thoughts turning into glaring dust shows a deep sense of loss and how fleeting precious moments can be. Now that I see the claymation style video though, it makes the song even more creepy. Seeing how this girl is being coerced into situations where her boundaries are violated, it shows how agreeing reluctantly can lead to exploitation, with the perpetrator blaming others for the outcome. This continues until the victim is left broken, then abandoned by her abuser. Chilling stuff. Moving on to something less serious, I think, is the cartoon Hot Dog on August 11th, where we have this cat taking a little walk before being grabbed by a knight with a stone-faced mask. The knight destroys the mask before questioning if the cat is real. He struggles to get an answer out of the cat. Instead, the feline plays dead and spits in his face. After holding it up, the kitty disguise falls off to reveal it's a glizzy. The knight uses the glizzy to make a hot dog with eggs. I've never seen that before. He takes one bite and starts getting upset over its taste before going back for another bite. Just seems like a troubled man that wants an authentic relationship, always finding someone who's fake and deceiving instead. It might not taste good, but it's the only form of connection he gets. He tries to be grateful for what he has, even if it kills him inside. On September 17, 2022, nearly 2 years after the channel's creation, we finally got an update on Blood and Skinny Hedgehog. The launch was planned for August, but Sodikken was unsatisfied and decided to add more to it. With support from Patreon donations, she plans to enlist voice actors, audio mixers, and other talented collaborators to enhance future episodes of Bash and her other animated musical projects. She expresses profound gratitude for the support that is helping to transform this lifelong dream into a tangible reality. Her goal is to consistently release these clips on YouTube for the foreseeable future. This hasn't exactly happened, as this announcement is the latest upload on the channel. She's still active on Instagram, Patreon, and Twitter teasing the series. I guess we'll have to smell this rose for a couple more years until Sodikken finishes cooking. The story of Sodikken comes down to having this dream of designing a world-famous cartoon series. After a year of little traction, she struck lightning in a bottle one day. Having this big of a platform in comparison to when she was just starting out independently likely gives Sodikken a lot more pressure to make this series the best it can be. She clearly has this quality over quantity mindset. I truly wish her luck. Who knows, maybe we'll have this creator on Netflix one day. If you enjoyed this video and want more like it, leave a like and subscribe for more base content. I'll see you all in the next one. Make sure to love all and peace.